Welcome back, you guys, to my channel. I'm Susanna Moreno, if you don't know that yet, but you can call me Susie. Today I want to do the Flawless Foundation tutorial for you guys, since a lot of you guys asked me how do I do my foundation, how do I make it look just like my skin, and how do I make it look so smooth. The key to all of this to look exactly how you want it to look, you have to start from the beginning. You need a good base. So as y'all can see, I'm not wearing any makeup. I washed my face, cleansed it, exfoliated, and just have a little bit of moisturizer on, but that's it. Guys, my skin is not perfect. I do have some little imperfections here and there. So what you want to start with obviously is priming the face. Make sure your skin is moisturized and hydrated. If you have oily skin, please wash your face, take away all those oils, all that dirt out of your face, and actually use a good moisturizer, not one that's too oily. There's different types of moisturizers out there that aren't so oily based. So what I'm going to start to prime my face with is one of my favorite primers of all time. I feel like I cannot live without this primer because I love it. It's like a primer and a moisturizer all in one, kind of. So even if I moisturized before, this is gonna help me moisturize again. This is the MAC Prep and Prime Natural Radiance. I have this in the color Radiant Yellow. This is what it looks like, and it's just like a little pump. I just use about this much, and you're just gonna massage this into the skin. After we have primed the face, we're going to let that sit just for a little bit because we need to let that soak in, let the skin take it in. You don't want to directly go into putting on product right after that. So a second product that I like to use as of right now, I haven't been using it long, but I do like it. It's the MAC Strobe Cream in, I'm not sure what color this is. Pink Light. This is colored Pink Light. I have the small one because I'm just trying it out for right now because I'm not sure if I want to keep on using it. So now that we let the primer sit in our skin, we're going to use just a little bit of the strobe cream, just like that. And you're going to see how shiny, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's kind of like a pearl shine, and it's really pretty for foundations that are sheen, where it's not too thick, because obviously if you're using this under a really thick foundation, a full coverage foundation, you're really not there's no purpose to this unless you're just using it to hydrate your skin. This is also a really good product to use in the summertime or anytime you don't really want to use so much makeup. This gives you a really nice natural glow if you want to wear it alone. Can you tell already that it's giving me that natural glow? It matches my nails. We're going to let this sit, and because this is a natural makeup look, I'm going to start doing my skin foundation first and then do the eyes, because I'm not going to do anything special to the eyes. If you are doing a really dramatic eye, or just something that might probably have fallout, then you want to do your eyeshadow first and then you can do your foundation. Now, for foundations, like I said, because this is a flawless skin look, you want it to be as close as your skin as possible. You want to avoid using full coverage foundations. You don't want anything that's going to be too cakey, too thick, because it's just going to defeat the whole purpose of having natural looking flawless skin. So the foundation that I use is the MAC Studio Waterlight. It's literally just like water. It's very liquidy, but it has a beautiful glow to it. So the colors that I use is NC30 and NC25. I mix these two shades together and I get my exact color. What I love about these foundations as well is that they do provide SPF. This is SPF 30, and y'all know that it's very important that we have some type of SPF on our skin every single time we go out, because the sun rays are really harsh on our skin, and that will, you know, cause wrinkles and more aging, and we don't want that. So what I'm going to use to apply this is a foundation brush that looks like this. It's kind of fluffy. I love this brush. This brush is by Farrah Cosmetics. It's called the Stippling 40 FM. If you guys want to check that out, I love this brush. I do know Fenty has a similar brush just like this one. I haven't tried that one out though, but yes, this is similar. This is a really good foundation brush. It will apply and blend your foundation in a good way, so I do recommend using this for your foundations. So I'm just going to start by dotting the foundation out on my skin. This is like, you just squirt it out. That was NC30. Now I'm going to apply the lighter shade. I apply it this way because the applicator is obviously like a little droplet, and it's very watery, so if I was to put this on my skin, it would easily just, from my hand, just slide down. So I don't want that. I want all of it as much as possible on my face. So using the brush, we're just going to work that in, and you will start to see how well this foundation is with the skin. It will immediately look like a sun-kissed glow, especially with the products, the priming that we did before. Bring the remaining foundation down to your neck. So once I have the foundation on, because it is very, very shiny, very liquidy, I'm going to use a beauty blender and just pat for extra blending and to get rid of any excess product that I don't need. Tapping with your beauty blender is key. You don't want to slide, you don't want to move that product over, because you will create patchiness, especially with this foundation, because it's not full coverage. You will notice that you slid across. Now that we patted it in, you can let it dry a little bit. It's not going to dry completely because, like I said, this foundation is neither matte or like super dewy. It's like right in between. But if you're a person that doesn't like that at all, and you strictly like dry matte foundation, this is not going to be for you. Is there foundations that can create the same look? Yes, there is, and I will get into that in a little bit. So I'm going to apply my concealer next. I use the Tarte Shape Tape. I love this concealer. It is amazing coverage. I don't think it's too thick for the coverage that it gives you, and the color I am using is light neutral 22N. I feel like it is a bit light, but not too light. You don't want to use a shade that's way too light if you're going to use a lot of it all over your face. So I'm just going to lightly dab with the applicator brush. Top of my nose, chin, and with the beauty blender, make sure beauty blender is damp. If it's dry, it's not going to work the same way. It's going to pick up your product and it's just going to soak it up. With the same method, we are just going to dab, tap, pat, however you want to call it. Pat it into the skin. Don't slide. I'm going to go in with another concealer, but this is only for brightening the under eye. What I use is the MAC Studio Fix Concealer. I don't know if you guys can see it. And the shade NW15. You don't need a lot of this product because you are only trying to highlight areas that you need. You don't need it all over the face because it's going to be way too light. So I'm just going to dab little dots right here. And on the outside right here. Just in those areas. So start patting away, blend it into your skin. Now if you guys can see, a little goes a long way. You don't need that much concealer. I see people literally swipe whole triangles and giant circles all over the face. You don't need that much. But if you do feel like you need that much, then start with a little bit and then increase the product as you go. Don't immediately just apply a whole bunch, because eventually it does become difficult to blend away when you do start blending it, because you put so much, you're gonna just waste that product. So you don't want to do that. We're going to set powder. I'm not going to bake. I don't like baking. I think it is unnecessary. Way too much unnecessary powder that you're just gonna make it go away anyway. So you just want a light sheer, you know, layer of powder. So I do use different powders depending on which one I feel like using. The one that I've been mainly using lately is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Loose Setting Powder in Banana. This powder. So another powder that I also used before was the Becca. It's a Becca setting powder, and this is a Hydra Mist. So when you actually apply this, it feels like you're applying setting spray also, because it's a really fresh feeling. Like when I tell you that when I tried this, it felt like I was spraying my face with setting spray. That is just how amazing it felt. It felt really refreshing. You can see the colors. This has a little bit more yellow undertone, and this one is more pinky. I'm gonna go in with the Becca one so I can show you guys how that looks. This is the brush that I'm using. It's fluffy and it's not too big either, so you can be really precise. This is the color, as you can see. Tap any excess that you don't need. So that is the Becca Hydro Mist powder. It is amazing. I love it. I'm gonna go into my eyebrows. Now I don't do anything specific to my eyebrows because I've been doing a natural eyebrow. I don't like, you know, a really thick black shaded in eyebrow. I want this to be as natural as possible. So I'm gonna use a eyebrow pencil by a brand called Honestly, I got this in one of my monthly Boxy Charm subscriptions, or Ipsy, one of those. Light strokes, nothing too aggressive. And I do want to start out at the bottom. Now remember, whenever you're doing your brows, you want to outline your natural brow, the shape of your natural brow. You don't want to go completely over and make a whole different eyebrow shape. So if you can see the difference, here's just a more defined brow compared to this one. So once we have our brows done, we're going to coat them with clear eyebrow gel. I used the one by Anastasia, and clear gel, obviously. So now that we have our eyebrows, we're gonna go into a light eyeshadow. The palette I'm gonna be using is this Morphe palette in 15D Day Slayer. This is what it looks like. So the whole trick with this is to use as less as you can. You don't want to go too heavy on the eyes. I use different blending brushes in different sizes. The first one that I'm going to be using is a Morphe brush, M514. That's the one that I'm using, that looks like this. I'm going to go in with this shade right here. It's like a really natural brown shade. Find your crease and start at the edge. And start working in the product in lightly. Once you have it in the crease, you can start to expand the shape outwards towards the end of your eyebrows, like so. Strokes, holding your brush at the end, not up here. You will not get the same results. Same with the other eye. We're gonna fluff it out. And if you want to go darker, slightly darker, just use one shade darker from what you were using and do the same technique. Once we have achieved the darkness that we want, we are going to use a small brush like this, very precise, and get that dark shade that you used and start to line the bottom part of your eyes. Flick it out this way into what you already have. That way it'll start to blend. You don't want to go in too hard like you're trying to make a line, but slightly flick it. So now that we have completed the eyeshadow, this is all you really need for a natural look. But what I like to use is the MAC Studio Fix powder, and the color that I'm using is NC35. I'm going to be using my Tarte brush. This doesn't really have a number, it came in a whole package, but I'm just going to be tapping this in all over the face. And that's it. After you do that, we're going to move on to bronzer. The bronzers that I like using are the Anastasia bronzers. The powder bronzer in Rich Amber and Rosewood. These two. These are the colors. One is slightly darker than the other. I'm going to go in first with Rosewood since that is the lightest one. With a pointed fluffy brush, we're going to go in, find your cheekbones and stay on that line. You don't want to go below, but you want to stay on top of it. And do the same on the other side. Now that we have bronzed the cheeks, if you wish to go slightly darker, you can, but make sure to just use very little, slightly tapping, and keep the darkness just on the top. And that's all you need. With the light one, Rosewood, we are going to use a blending brush like this, and we're going to use it to bronze the nose as like a contour, as you want to call. You don't want to use too much, and you want to make sure this isn't too dark so it's not very marked. We are going to start from the top and make like light strokes. Make sure to connect it with your eyeshadow. If you want this, you know, your nose to have like a defined long structure. Now this does depend on your nose type, but this is what I do for my nose because I like that look of you know, the shadows in between right here. Once you've finished with your bronzer, you want to mist your face with some setting spray, or like I'm using the MAC Studio Fix or the Prep and Prime Fix spray. And I'm going to highlight. The highlighter that I'm using is the Artist Couture highlight in shade Summer Haze. I'm gonna use a highlighting brush that like this, like a fan brush, that's what it's called. You don't want to use too much, and just on this area, no, not right here, just this area, this line, we're going to lightly highlight. See? The whole purpose of spraying the Studio Fix before you apply your highlighter is that it will stick on better, and the application of the highlighter will be more smooth, making it look like it's part of your skin, like a natural glow. You can apply the highlighter wherever you want the areas to be lighter. Using a more precise brush like this, a flat brush, I'm going to take a little bit and apply some underneath my brow bone. And do the same on the other side. Once we have finished highlighting, you can see the glow. We're going to go into mascara. I already curled my eyelashes with the lash curler, and I'm going to use my mascara, Grande Drama Intense Thickening Mascara with castor oil. This is what it looks like. Use this on the top, and for my bottom, because the brush is big, I want something a little more thinner, precise, so I can use on my bottom. I'm going to be using, I
don't know how to pronounce this. Is it Fate?
I don't know. But I'm going to be using this mascara on the bottom of my eyelashes, and do very light strokes, not too thick, just so that you're slightly thickening the bottom of your lashes. Now that we have our mascara, this is what it looks like. I want to tell you guys that whenever you are doing your mascara, make sure that you are applying it from the root all the way up. The whole point is, you know, for you to coat the whole entire lash for it to look, you know, more natural as possible. You don't want a whole clumpiness of mascara at the very top and nothing at the bottom. Now we can move on to the lips. If you want to just keep it with chapstick, that is fine. But I like to have a lip color just so that I can make my lips a little bit more defined and bigger. So I'm going to go in with a lip liner. This one is by MAC. It's in the shade, this is the Pro Longwear lip pencil in shade Nice and Spicy. And I'm going to just slightly overline. You don't want to go too far out, because then you will notice that it's been overlined. When you get to the bottom, if you have lips like mine where this part goes down like this, you can get away with overlining a little bit more on the bottom right here. And then on these edges, make sure you don't overline it too much, but make it exactly right on the edge of your lips. Once you have achieved a shape that you like, you can go in with your lipstick. I am going to be using a MAC lipstick. This one is in the shade Velvet Teddy. It's like a nice brownish nude color. These are definitely my favorite types of colors. I don't use pinks too much, just a preference of mine. And that is the lips. If you want to, what I sometimes do is I get a lighter shade of lipstick and just shade the middle part of your lips, so that it creates like that ombre kind of look, and they look slightly a little bit bigger, you know, to look more plump. This is what the makeup looks like. Now after everything is done, I'm going to get my MAC Fix Plus, and this is one of the shimmery ones. It's called Gold Light. I have the gold one and the pink one, but I'm going to use the gold one today. And we're going to let that dry. I love this Fix Plus spray because it leaves a really nice shimmer. It's not way too sparkly, but it is a really nice glow to the skin, which goes along with what we're trying to achieve, that natural skin look. So if y'all have noticed, most of the products that I use are MAC Cosmetics. That is just because I love MAC Cosmetics. I have been using MAC since the first time I even bought my first eyeshadow. So if you don't want to use the foundations that I use, I will tell you guys some of my favorites that I've been using lately that are medium to full coverage. Besides the MAC foundations, I do use the Dior Backstage, this one. I use this shade in color 2WO. I actually really like this foundation because it's meant to be waterproof and sweat proof. So if I know that I'm going to be moving around a lot, this is what I'm going to use. Do the same application that I did just with this foundation, and it stays on all day, and I really recommend this. Another foundation that I really like, which doesn't really apply to the natural type of foundation look, well, in a way it does, but this is more of a mattifying. This is the Giorgio Armani foundation in Power Fabric in the shade 4.5. This is the foundation. I love this foundation for it. It doesn't matter what event, what it is, because it gives you a good full coverage without being way too thick. But it's not going to give you that natural glow like this. So this will control anything that's like oily skin. Another one that I really like that's more like a satin finish is the YSL All Hours foundation. I use this in color Warm Almond. This is the foundation. This is another to die for foundation. Although they are on the pricey range, I keep these for like special occasions when I really need, good makeup for me to last a really long time. If I'm just going to school, then I'm just going to use my basic foundations like MAC. Another thing is with the YSL foundation, I do recommend using the primer that they have. What's it called? The Blur Primer. The YSL Blur Primer. This primer will really give you a nice smooth application whenever you apply the YSL foundation, even with any other foundation, but I think both of them go well, really well. This does fill in your pores to minimize, the appearance of them. It's just something that I really do recommend. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you can try this out. Let me know how it turns out for you. Send me pictures. Anything. I want to see how you guys make it work. So yeah, I will see you guys on my next video. I hope you guys had fun. Well, bye.